splendor. The banquet was laid out in gold. The lords and the ladies invited the newborn princess to behold. The king and the queen felt the blessing of the cherished, long-wished-for child. They looked on with proud adoration as the guests brought their gifts and smiled. Now the principal guests of the evening were 7 good fairies of fame. All came forth with gifts for the princess, in harmony each with their name. The first fairy, she bestowed patience. The second gave kindness unbound. The next fairy, she granted wisdom. Then with courage the baby was crowned. Generosity followed soon after, and justice gave her gift with care. But before the last fairy could offer, a terrible chill gripped the air. For the fairy called bitterness entered, though she was not invited this day. She was spiteful and mean and rejected, but still wanted her part to play.
Though you did not ask me to this banquet, yet still my gift I'll supply. For on the girl's 16th birthday, a spindle prick will cause her to die.
In horror the king and queen wept, until the 7th fairy hope did appear. This curse I'm unable to ravel, but its grip I can soften, don't fear. The child shall not die from the spindle, but for 100 years she'll not wake. For in deepest slumber she'll lie waiting for true love's kiss, the curse to break. The king was most thankful yet fearful, so he sent forth the royal decree that each spinning wheel and its spindle be burnt, that his child might be free. Young princess grew up virtuous, lovely and true. She was patient, kind, wise and courageous, generous and just through and through. At last came the princess's birthday. At 16 she was fair as a flower. While the castle prepared celebration, she climbed up the tallest old tower. At the top she discovered a secret, a room she had not seen before. She reached for the old iron handle and pushed open the old squeaking door. There she saw an old woman never seen one, nor ever had heard its whirring sound. The old woman looked at the princess and gave her a strange, knowing smile. She said,
"Come hither, young lady. I'll teach you to spin for a while."
the princess, delighted to try it, sat down by the woman to learn. She lifted her hand to the spindle, and it pricked her the very first turn. As she slipped to the floor, the old woman cast down her guise at her feet. 'Twas the fairy who was not invited. She vanished, her vengeance complete. The princess was laid in her chamber, and the court was with sorrow o'errun. For the curse would outlast all her people. Then hope came and her spell was begun. She drifted through keep and through cellar, through each tower, garden and home. With a touch of her gentle enchantment, 100 years slumber for all. Then hope wove a hedge of dark briar around the castle, an armour of thorn, to safeguard the dwellers who slumbered, and to each who passed by it did warn. For 100 years in the castle, slumber and silence kept guard. Legends of sleeping beauty were told by the poet and bard. Now one day a young prince was traveling, and passed by where the strange thorns grew. Curious he was to discover if the tales he had heard were all true. He drew forth his sword from his scabbard to cut through the tangles and plumes, but was most astonished to see that all the thorns were transformed into blooms. The flowers bowed low in his presence, they parted to show him the way. For hope had been waiting a century for this very prince on this day. He strode through the passage of petals, stepped up to the castle's high gate. 'Twas no longer a legend or story, but the young prince meeting his fate. He walked past the statues of people, courtiers, servants, guards, king and queen, till he came to the princess's chamber and beheld beauty he'd never seen. At that moment he felt deep within him the stirring of true love and bliss. He gazed on her peaceful in slumber, then placed on her lips a chaste kiss. The curse disappeared in a moment. The princess awoke alive and well. Hope's triumph through love's affirmation had ended 100-year spell. Joy, prince and the princess were married in a chorus of laughter and song.